the #1 sports ground, it's the day of the grand final, the day Maitland plays Cessnock, and so it becomes rather a colourful affair, black and white versus gold and black. And who can win? Well, I suppose either team could win. It's a very even game. The crowd is very big. It's a large and boisterous crowd at the present time, judging by the early matches. The scene is quite colourful. There's plenty of action going on, and for his early summing up of the game and a quick one, John Coots.
Thanks very much, Noel. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to what can only be described as grand final fever. The air is electric with excitement. We've just seen two great games in the reserve grade. Cessnock 17 defeated Western Suburbs 15 for the reserve grade premiership. In third grade, Maitland 27 defeated Western Suburbs 9. But I guess the coalfields must be deserted today. Everyone from Maitland and Cessnock will have to be here in force, barracking for their respective teams. And as Noel has already mentioned, we certainly have all the trappings that are normally attendant upon a grand final. The grounds here and the stands are festooned with the black and white of Maitland and the black and gold of Cessnock. There's a profusion of goannas and pumpkins on the loose around the ground. The bands are playing, the colourful cheer squads are out in force, and of course the crowd's on its toes. The conditions are ideal for the game today. It's sunny and warm, the ground is very fast. The wind has now swung around from the northwest to the westerly, and of course if it continues from that direction, then it'll favour neither side. So all these omens are good. It's going to be a very closely contested affair, and it would be a shame to think that the elements made more than a significant contribution. A great game, everybody ready. Maitland, they both come into the game with good records. Cessnock, of course, a very impressive one. They've won the pre-season final already. They were the minor premiers. They want to make it a clean sweep by winning this big one today. Maitland with an equally impressive record. They've been close to the top of the table for the whole of the season. They've played good, intelligent football, very few mistakes, and that's the sort of football that's demanded in a grand final. As Noel has said, it's going to be a very, very close one, and it remains to be seen just who the bounce of the ball favours.
The referee today is Mr. Tom Gustard, the leading referee in the Newcastle area. Maitland have now come onto the field, led out by their captain and coach, Gary Sullivan. The team looks very fit and, right in condition for today's match. The team, as you see it, on your screen right now. And John, what about telling us something about Gary Sullivan?
Yes, well, Gary certainly had a great season this year with Maitland, and they're no newcomers to the grand final season. Maitland have appeared in 14 previous grand finals, and Gary is the man that's got them there this year. It might be fitting to pay a tribute to Gary. He hailed from Curry, where he played for 2 years before moving to Newtown, where he had 6 seasons and played 118 first-grade games. And then he had an international tours in 1970, 1972, and he's come back. This is his 2nd year with Maitland. Gary Sullivan, that's the man on your screen, hoping for a pumpkin picker's victory today.
Cessnock coming onto the field now, led by Henry Tardner. He's followed by a very big team, a very virile team, and certainly a strong team. The young boy on his shoulder, I believe, is Johnny Fenns' young son. To tell us about Henry Tardner, John Coots.
There's the big man of rugby league, Henry Tardner. He's toured Australia and Great Britain with Kiwi sides. He went to Canterbury for 3 years, then to Saints, and now this is his 1st year at Cessnock. And what a contribution this man's made to the game. His prowess as a goal kicker, of course, is well known, but his main achievement this year must be the way he's moulded this big Cessnock side together. And of course its record speaks for itself. They've won the minor premiership, they've won the pre-season competition, and now they're hoping for the big one, the 1977 grand final.
And the game is on in earnest. Cessnock, left to right on your screen, Maitland right to left. Teams will be distinguished very easily for those with black and white. The black shorts of Cessnock, the white shorts of Maitland. Vans to kick off. The breeze favouring Cessnock in the first half, and I should imagine that they'll want a big advantage at the end of the first half. to Sneesby. Sneesby up to his quarter line. In he goes amongst the top players and the forwards and the backs all mixed in together for the first tackle. But Maitland trying to run it away as Suitors goes to ground. Schumacher gains a few metres. Testing period. McNabb to dummy half. Burke up there. Gary Sullivan. Robbie Sullivan has dropped it. It's a Cessnock ball. Goldman away to Fans. Everson wide. Tartner a little bit flat-footed, the whole of the team there, until Williams eventually gets on the move and he's taken into touch. Scott putting the ball in for Maitland. It's won by Cessnock. Fans. Stevens down. Lawler up there very quick as Fans goes to dummy half. Coming through Pemberton. Pemberton hammered down on the quarter line. Fans backing up well at dummy half. Then to Tartner. Jowett coming through with a strong run. Taken down very solidly then. Fans again to dummy half. This time it's Tartner. To Stevens. Stevens held. Holden to dummy half as Cessnock go on the attack. There's Tartner. To Fans. Again Pemberton into the movement. But he's knocked back by Lawler. And the last tackle coming up. Fans. Up it goes. It's quite a good one. Scott going back. Bounces over the try line and Scott will run it out. He comes to Goldman. He gets nearly past Goldman before he's brought down 10 metres out from his own line. Carmody at dummy half and Goldman goes across quickly for another tackle. This time Robbie Sullivan comes to dummy half, decides to run. It's taken down very quickly. Gary Sullivan comes to dummy half. Swings play the other way to Sharp. Sharp goes back in field. Davies over the top, Holden underneath. Good defence coming from Cessnock as Maitland in their own quarter line. Gary Sullivan runs and then props and gives it to Robbie Sullivan. Back to Gary Sullivan, backing up well. Under Scott. Scott was taken down. Sullivan, a little kick. It goes out towards Ambram. It bounces in front of Ambram, but he takes it down very nicely. And Redgrove makes well, we'll say a grand final mistake. I haven't seen this boy make a mistake all the season, but he lost the ball and McKinnon has it for Maitland. Suitors. A penalty right in the middle of the field to Maitland. And it's again the tap. It goes to Gary Sullivan, back inside to Robbie Sullivan. They would have gained about 3 metres as now McNabb comes to dummy half. Maitland over the halfway mark. Coming through Suitors. Can't get the ball away. A good tackle by Jowett that time. Back it comes to Gary Sullivan. Goes across field, then stands still and gives it to Schumacher. And there's Tartan and Jowett there with him. Gary Sullivan again. Back it comes to Burke. Getting up there very quickly. He gets it to Lawler. Still on the blind side, it's Gary Sullivan. Back inside, Suitors. Last tackle coming up for Maitland. It goes to McNabb. Now Gary Sullivan puts the ball up. He puts it up wide and fairly deep on the far side. Nicely taken by Williams. He props and gets it past one player and gets up towards his own quarter line. That was a good take and a good run. Cessnock in possession inside their own quarter. Playing wide there was Everson coming back inside of Fans. Fans again to dummy half. This is how he'll direct play from that particular position. Davies gets it to Ambram. Ambram onto Goldman. Goldman swings back inside, but he runs into a bit of trouble there. McNabb was waiting. Now it's Ambram to dummy half. To Tartner. Tartner using the wind, and that's looking for a line kick. It bounces nicely, but it bounces too well, and Burke takes it up to the halfway mark. Good run. Eventually he's collared. Sharp. McNabb now to dummy half. Gary Sullivan. miss out Robbie Sullivan and get it to Schumacher. Stevens is up there, and Davies helps bring him down. This time Gary Sullivan runs well. Swings it wide. Carmody gets back infield. Runs into a bit of trouble there with Tartner helping Goldman. Then it's Lawler. Now it's Gary Sullivan. Swings a loose one. Picked up by Robbie Sullivan. A little bit lucky that time. Now it's Scott. Scott nearly sees an opening there, and eventually it's Andrew that brings him down as McNabb goes to dummy half. And it looks as though Burke has come in. He's coming close. He's got it wide to Schumacher. On it goes to Sharp. Then to Carmody. Out to Sneesby. Sneesby dodges back inside. He's beaten a couple of players, but he's eventually brought down, and that's the last tackle. John, how do you see the few minutes of the opening?
Well, it's varied. Cessnock put on the early pressure, then Maitland retaliated in kind. There's some very good defence from both sides. As you say, this is the softening up period, and neither side making tremendous impression, which means their defence is holding.
Fens gets the ball from the scrum. He flicks it back to Pemberton, then to Stevens. Stevens tries to get through, but it looked like Lawler and Schumacher made him stand in the tackle. Then it's Fens trying to break through, and again Lawler underneath, and a couple of players over the top as Tartner goes to dummy. Cessnock on their own quarter line. Back it goes to Davies. Davies has dropped it, and it could be a Maitland ball. Maitland will come up with the ball. Gary Sullivan plays it to Souters. Souters tries to get through, and Davies takes him in a good tackle. Now it's McNabb to dummy half. He gets the ball away to Scott. Scott to Lawler. Lawler looks for the opening. He gets the ball's loose on the ground, and it's a penalty to Maitland. It looks as though Ambram is being spoken to for that infringement, and Burke no doubt to have a shot at goal. Burke has his ball placed outside the quarter by about 3 metres, in from touch by about 15 metres against the wing. The ball's up and to the right of the uprights. It's not over the dead ball line, and Cessnock run it out and just get it outside their own try line. It's a chance for the first points of the 1977 grand final, but it's not to be. Holden at dummy half. Ingram running strongly across field. Scott can't grab him, but eventually backs up for a second attempt. Stevens goes to dummy half. It will be Fans next up. Tartner alongside him. Now Cessnock beginning to run. Took a couple to bring Tartner down. Fens again to dummy half. Standing wide was Jowett over the quarter line. But he's brought down as Fens goes to dummy half. Looks like Everson will kick now. A long one through. Could be out on the full. It's a long kick out on the full. Another penalty to Maitland from that scrum, and so no doubt we'll see what happens. I'd imagine Burke would have to have another shot. No, they're going to take the tap. It goes on to Sullivan, then to Lawler, and Lawler gets it through to Carmody. Carmody sees an opening, but Pemberton and Goldman came through very quickly. McKinnon now goes to dummy half. He gets the ball away to Sullivan. Sullivan props and gets it to Sharp, and Sharp is down in a good tackle underneath there by Ambram. McNabb comes to dummy half. Across it goes to Burke. Up in that half-back, there's Souters. Souters looks for the try line and is brought down by Pemberton. Again, McKinnon coming to dummy half, swinging to Scott, then to Burke again. Burke across to Sullivan. Sullivan to Sneesby, and there's a first try on the board as Sneesby scores for Maitland.
Let's have another look at it. Brian Burke is playing a very dominant role early in the game. He moved into the back line there again, give the pass to Gary Sullivan. And Sullivan, of course, with the overlap, saw Sneesby in the clear, and Rod Sneesby using that great pace, and he's wisely brought the ball in closer to give Brian Burke an easier chance into this fairly strong breeze.
Just short of the quarter and about 20 metres in from touch at the bad kick. And so Maitland 3 leading Cessnock 0 in the first 10 minutes of the 1977 grand final. Kicks it deep. Bounces. Well held by Sharp there. He gets to his quarter line. Then comes back infield and eventually wrestled down. Suitors will go to dummy half. Maitland now about to put more pressure on, I'd say. There's Burke up there almost at half-back position. There it is, Burke. Coming through as Gary Sullivan, but nobody in that opening that was there. McNabb now comes up towards the halfway mark, and again the Cessnock defence comes across. Everson, Amber, now it's Lawler, Burke, Sharp, Schumark, Carmody, Sneesby, but there's Jowett out there, the front row forward. Drove them back a bit that time. Maitland lost ground. Back it goes to Sullivan. Then Scott, McKinnon, Lawler. Lawler tries to get an opening. Gets the ball to MacArthur. Ben's coming across. MacArthur gets it back to McKinnon. McKinnon runs to Pemberton, and on the halfway mark, a good move by Maitland and good covering play by Cessnock. How are the scrums, John?
That's the only second successful scrum, and they're standing at 1-1.
And that's Ambram, who couldn't make a lot of ground, but got the ball back to Stevens, and Stevens just short of the halfway mark as Cessnock try to attack. Ambram running wide there. Redgrave into the movement on the halfway mark. Good tackle brings him down. Ambram, Davies. Davies splits down the centre, and he's got fans alongside of him. Well, there's fans going for the corner. Burke goes across. He gets him. Good tackle by Brian Burke. He took fans there, ball and all. Stevens, Tartner looks for support. Pemberton, in go the Maitland players, and they hold Pemberton right inside the quarter line. Back it goes to Holden. Now it's fans, then Stevens. Stevens tries to cut back in, but he's wrestled down. Last tackle coming up, and it could be another ball up by Cessnock. There's Tartner, puts it up. Nicely judged too. He's got Burke going back. Holden runs into Burke, and Burke trips over, so it's a line drop out. Burke dropping out from his own line. Not bad against the wind. Gets it almost to the halfway mark before it bounces. Taken down nicely by Redgrove, and Redgrove takes the first tackle. Ambram comes into dummy half with Cessnock trying to force play back towards the Maitland line. Pemberton runs to Carmody, and Carmody takes him down. Schumacher's over the top. Ambram again. Two fans. Stevens. Fans again. Nearly lost it, but there's Jowett causing a bit of bother out there, and there's Everson backing him up, and there's plenty of weight there and a bit of speed as Ambram gets it. But in comes Schumacher, and Ambram breaks his tackle. Ambram nearly into the clear and down on the quarter line. Good move by George Ambram. Again it goes to Everson. A bad tackle. Tartner goes back for a bad pass, not a bad tackle. That was a bad tackle as Tartner is allowed to run, and he can't get the ball away. Now it's fans. Cessnock putting plenty of pressure on. Holden, Davies. On it goes to Ambram. Ambram has got a player set up here. He can't get the ball away. And a good tackle there stops Ambram just short of the line. Bain will be the dummy half. Back to Redgrove, then Davies. Now it's Stevens. Stevens might have lost the ball, and it's picked up by Schumacher, but a penalty right in front for Cessnock.
Maitland standing offside right in front of the posts.
Tartner will make no mistake with this one right in front. 2 points, and so now final first half, Maitland 3, leading Cessnock 2. Redgrove coming across, takes it just in front of the goalpost. Gets it to Stevens, and Stevens is taken down inside his own quarter line. Fans to dummy half. Goldman, Davies, Pemberton. He's got Everson outside of him, but Pemberton, a great run by Pemberton. Well tackle by Suitors. Everson goes to dummy half. It was a great run. On it comes to Tartner, and Tartner's now starting to make his presence felt out there with a couple of short, sharp bursts. Back it comes to Stevens, then Fans. On to Goldman. Goldman looks for support. He gets it to Payne, and Payne comes up to the halfway mark. Schumark misses him. He's taken down. He gets the ball inside the Fans. Fans has knocked it forward, and the knock-on will be played. Cessnock. They won't want to give too many of these away, Maitland, because Tartner will keep potting them over all day. I'm sure of that. He's going to have another shot. Tartner now 12 metres in from the touchline and about 2 metres over the quarter line. The wind behind him. Comes in those usual 2 steps. He's put it up. He's made no... One up, one down, no goal. No goal. There was one up, one down, and the referee, Mr. Gustard, said no goal. So it's still 3-2 in favour of Maitland. Close, John?
Very close. Yes, that was a hairline decision.
Burke drops out. Up it goes to Everson. Everson over the halfway mark. Crashes into the Maitland players, and if they don't stop these big fellas running, Maitland are going to have to tackle all afternoon, and they're going to be very tired at the finish. There's Davies is through, and this has got to be a try. Davies goes for the corner, a great run, and he's in. A great try.
Just take a quick look at Davies in action again. He's made one brilliant burst prior to this, but that's a beautiful move that he hit that ball at top speed, burst the defence. Maitland have been unable to contain this man. He's just too strong. He strides out. His steps really move. Brian Burke gave valiant chase, but was unable to stop him, even though he had tackled him before the line. Davies' momentum carried him over, and that is a beautiful try.
Out on the far touchline now, comes in, hits that ball beautifully again, but he misses, and so it's 5-3 now. Cessnock in front in the 1977 Grand Final. And the kick-off by Burke to Pemberton. Pemberton brings it up with another strong run. Here's Everson. Maitland forwards are going to have to tackle very hard, because these fellas are too big for the backs. Here's Tartner. Now that's 3 of the big forwards have all had a go. Tartner got the ball away to Stevens. Here's Davies again, the try scorer. He's held. Stevens will go to dummy half. Swing the ball away to Fans. Fans misses out a couple of players and gets it to Everson. Everson is wrestled there by Sharp and another player, and is eventually brought down. Williams. This is Fans. A little kick by Fans. It will be a penalty. Well, it was only a penalty, John.
Yes, Fans definitely interfered with as he tried to follow that ball through someone. He had him by the jumper, and he appealed to the referee, and of course there was no question. It's a penalty to Cessnock, and they put the pressure on again.
This time Tartner will look for the line and finds it midway between the halfway mark and the Maitland quarter line. Williams. That's a better looking tackle underneath. Hold him at dummy half. Fans, Tartner. Oh, gee, they were two players that collided with one another. Everson and another player, Bedgrove goes down, but both those players are down and out. But they collided with one another.
Signalling for the stretcher.
To restart after that collision between Everson and Sullivan. But gee, it was some knock. Now it's out to Ambrim as Cessnock win the ball. They go across field and here's Ambrim with a great run. Ambrim's going to the corner. Berkey's pushed him up and scored! A great try to Ambrim.
And fans are ecstatic. That was why they called George Ambrim the Tank. You can see the determination as he set out on that run, showed a great turn of speed, and Brian Burke, of course, a most unenviable task of trying to stop him, was bounced off, and Ambrim was able to carry on with his own momentum again and dive over right in the corner.
On the touchline and on the quarter line. Comes in again. It's not a all the way. And so it's 10-3 now in favour of Cessnock. Burke to restart play, and for the last 15 minutes it's been all Cessnock. Two great tries, one by Davies and that one by Ambrim. The last one was a beauty. You saw the kick by Tartner right from the touch, and it never looked like missing. Now it's Maitland at 6s and 7s, and Cessnock able to play it well within themselves now. It goes to Fans, on to Stevens. And Stevens makes a beeline for the halfway mark, but he's brought down just over his own quarter. Back it comes to Fans. There's Pemberton out there. Across it goes to Tartner. There's Ambrim again. And there's a big overlap here as it comes into Everson, and he goes down in the tackle. Back to Tartner. Now to Fans. Then Stevens. Ball's loose. Picked up there by Schumacher, and Maitland in possession. Lawler at dummy half. On to Sullivan. Then to Robbie Sullivan. There's McKinnon. And there's a chance for MacArthur, and MacArthur's in. It's a try.
This is great grand final stuff. There's Maitland back in the game as a result of that costly mishandling by Cessnock, but they snapped up the ball, and Gary Sullivan showing that he has resumed consciousness at least. He was in there, started that move off across the back line, a fairly standard move out to the wing of MacArthur, and he simply gathered the ball nicely in from an awkward pass and went over for a good try from Maitland. They've responded.
There's an uphill job here right from the touch. It's got to be a Henry Tartner one against the wind. And Burke renowned as he is for goal kicking, has lifted it nicely, but it's well away. So in the first half, it's Cessnock 10, leading Maitland 6. To restart play, kicks it deep, bounces along the ground. Burke, behind his line, he passed to Lawler. Lawler down just short of his own quarter line as Robbie Sullivan goes to dummy half. Takes it up towards the quarter line. Schumacher will be at dummy half. Gary Sullivan. There's a bit of a run by Gary Sullivan. He gets it back to Lawler. Lawler's got Sneesby outside of him. He gets the ball away to Sneesby. It's an awkward pass. He did well to pick it up and stay with the ball.
Great burst by Gary Sullivan. He has recovered.
And it's a penalty to Maitland. Now surely they'll try and find touch this time, even if it's only 10 metres. About 10 metres inside of Cessnock's half. McNabb. Gary Sullivan. Give him plenty now. Back to McNabb. Robbie Sullivan. Beats off a tackle. And he's hammered down there, but he gets up and he'll play it back. Gary Sullivan again. Cessnock storming him. Out it goes to Souters. Souters is over the quarter line. He's got no support. Place it back to McNabb. Out it goes to Scott. Onto Sharp. Sharp tries to cut inside. A good tackle there by Jowett. Now it's Schumacher. Schumacher stretches for the line. Last tackle coming up is McNabb. Goes to dummy half. Maitland in possession. Onto Sharp. Sharp tries to... He spins the ball away to Sullivan. Back it comes to Lawler. Lawler can't get rid of it. And the scrum about 5 metres out from the Cessnock line. To put the ball in for Cessnock. It's won by Maitland. Scott gets it to Sharp, and Sharp was very quick off the mark that time. So was the Cessnock defence. Sullivan comes to dummy half. There's nobody running with him as he goes across field. A long one to Burke. Burke's on a loose pass. It's picked up by Sneesby, and that was lucky. It's 6 tackles to go. Sneesby plays it forward and knocks on. Oh dear. That was a chance lost for Maitland with their excitement. Again to put the ball in. This time it's a Cessnock ball. Back it comes to Stevens, and Stevens gets to almost his own quarter line as Spence gets to dummy half. Dummies and gets over the quarter line. He runs into Gary Sullivan. Stevens again backing up there at dummy half. Onto Tartner. Tartner tries to get through. Underneath is Gary Sullivan doing a lot of work now. About 10 minutes of the first half left, and it's 10-6 in favour of Cessnock. It's been a good first half. There's Davies again. Wrestled down over the top there by Robbie Sullivan. Holding at dummy half. Onto Tartner. Tartner. There's the boot. Bang. That's Sneesby going back. What a great kick. Little flying touch. Little flying touch right down inside the Maitland quarter line. Great kick. Scott putting the ball in for Maitland. Scott again for Maitland, and Maitland win it. On it goes to Sharp standing out. There's Lawler. Lawler to Carmody. They're not good passes. Now it's McKinnon. McKinnon over the quarter line. He shapes the pass. He gets it to MacArthur. Dambron came across and took him in a touch. A penalty to Maitland for a head-high tackle. Penalty to Maitland. And they're going to take this full tap again. On it goes to McNabb, and they've lost about 5 metres so far as it gets out to Schumacher. Schumacher tries to go and throws another pass to Gary Sullivan, to Sneesby. Well, it's just the players are backing up, and Sneesby gets up to the Well, almost to where the tap was taken from in the centre of the field. I can't see the sense in that play. Not at all. Must be wrong now. They keep doing it. On it goes to Robbie Sullivan. Now it's Lawler. Lawler wide to Carmody. Back it comes to Robbie Sullivan. Then Scott. Scott gets to Tartner. Tartner will stop in one hand. Carmody. Burke. This Cessnock defence is much too good. Suitors over the halfway mark. Tartner takes him down. Now a dummy half. Sullivan. Robbie Sullivan. Andrew up there. Scott sees an opening, goes back into midfield, but it's Payne that brings him down. Now it's Sharp. Sharp, a little kick through. Tries to get it and falls on it again, but that's his sixth tackle. John, just going back to that running round business of Maitland, do you think there's any value in it?
They were standing flat-footed. It's all right if you have a man running onto the ball, and this is what Cessnock has been doing. That's been the difference, I think. It's really been a game of the big men so far, where Cessnock always seems to have a big man running onto the field. But here goes Maitland.
There's Sneesby again. After a backline move, back it goes to Lawler. Lawler tries to barge his way through, but he's not strong enough as Cessnock are up there in defence all the time. Back it comes to Sneesby. Then it's Schumark, and Schumark is taken down over the top and underneath. Two Cessnock players, Davies and Everson. McNabb, Gary Sullivan, Lawler. Sneesby at dummy half. Gary Sullivan. Burke. Carmody. McKinnon tries to step inside of Goldman. Goldman brings him down. Suitors to dummy half. Oh, he's lost the ball. Ambrose picked it up. And Cessnock in possession, and still in the first half with about 5 minutes to go. On it goes through Stevens, and Stevens recovers. 10-6 in favour of Cessnock. And they're playing the better football. Now it's Holden. Fans. Tartner. Jowett. Fans. Davies. Redgrove. Tartner. Here's another kick coming in. This time Sneesby goes back. Then it bounces up. Tearing them to ribbons with these kicks.
It was clever play. He deliberately kept the trajectory on that kick low, hoping for just that effect, and it would bounce, and it did.
Penalty to Cessnock. In from the far touch, just over the quarter line. Bang, out it goes again, but this time he's kicked it out over the dead ball line and missed the goal, and so the score remains with about 3 minutes of the first half left to go. Cessnock 10 leading Maitland 6. Burke drop kicks out down the centre of the field. Stevens at dummy half. Fiends. Ambram. He's causing plenty of bother today too. Fiends to dummy half. Goldman. Redgrove. Davies. Jowett. Jowett out wide. Gets the ball away. And he stays with it. Referee had blown his whistle. Won by Maitland. On it goes to Lawler, then to McKinnon. McKinnon this time is inside Carmody, and a great run by McKinnon. Scott. Lawler. Sharp, I'm sorry. Sharp. McNabb. Gary Sullivan up towards the quarter line. Lawler's lost the ball. It's loose. McCarthy stretches for it and takes it down, but the referee has signalled knock on. Penalty to Cessnock, and now another one for talking back, and so it's gone further down, and Scott taps quickly to Sharp, then to Robbie Sullivan. Robbie Sullivan tries to straighten up. Sharp comes back inside, can't get through. McNabb to dummy half. Maitland on the attack now. Scott, a long one to Carmody, then to McKinnon. McKinnon tries to cut through. He's nearly through, and he's over the line. Wow. A try. McKinnon.
Maitland in the dying stages of the first half, they were all on the blind side. The whole of the Maitland team was on the blind side, so they certainly had the men there. But a brilliant individual effort by Ross McKinnon as he sidestepped his way and made that last desperate lunge at the line to score that valuable try for Maitland right on the bell.
Burke now on the quarter line, 12 metres in from the far touch. Hasn't had the easiest of kicks. He hopes that he gets some easier ones in the second half, I'm sure. He comes in. Is it? No, it's not there. And so at half-time, Cessnock 10, leading Maitland 9. The 1 point, is it enough lead for Cessnock?
Well, Maitland have the wind behind them in the first half. Cessnock certainly used it to great advantage, but Maitland's going to have to find an answer to these big men from Cessnock playing wide in the back.
In the second half, it's Burke kicking off for Maitland. They're running left to right on your screen, and he's found touch. He's putting the ball in for Cessnock. It's won by Maitland. It goes to Lawler. Lawler tries to judge round, but a good tackle by Stevens stops him. Sharp now takes up the running, and Stevens comes across again and underneath with a tackle. Davies was on top. Lawler, nobody running through except Lawler, so he stays up with it himself as Pemberton and Davies pushing back. McNabb up to dummy half, on to Scott, now to Gary Sullivan. Wide to Suitors, quickly to McKinnon. McKinnon does well to handle it, he drops it. Ball's loose, and it's a Cessnock ball. From defence into attack as Everson takes up the running. Cessnock now with a chance to run themselves out of bother. Comes back, gets to Jowett, and Jowett been close this time. Makes a few metres. Holden to dummy half. Fans. Stevens. Beside Davies. Over the top of him was Sharp. Penalty to Cessnock. Tartner looks for touch on the far side of the field and makes a few metres. How are the penalties, John?
Well, that penalty levelled the scores. Cessnock 5, Maitland 5, and in the scrum, Cessnock are ahead 4-3. So not much in possession.
Cessnock now to play it inside of Maitland's half as Holden comes to dummy half. Jefferson going through with a big run. Gives it back to Holden. Holden runs from the dummy half position and makes good ground. Far side, Payne as dummy half. Then Fans. Tries to get through Robbie Sullivan, but there's plenty of defenders there, and now it's a penalty to Cessnock. We're going to be spoken to here. it doesn't make much difference to Henry, I don't think. 2 points. So it's 12-9 in favour of Cessnock in about 4 minutes of the second half. Burke kicking off, restart play. This time Everson makes no mistake and takes the ball for Cessnock. Jarrett, Pemberton. Holden at dummy half. Tartner. To Fans, Pemberton. Gary Sullivan, the tackler. Everson to dummy half. Fans, Tartner. Gets round a couple of players very easily, but runs into a bit of trouble then. Schumacher and Sullivan, the tacklers. And there's a few words to say and a bit of a grin to them. And Redgrove is knocked down in a tackle by Suitors. To Cessnock, and Tartner finds touch now inside of Maitland's half. Payne. Holden, dummy half. Pemberton. Schumacher, tackler. Tartner, Fans, Suitors and Lawler bringing down Tartner, Stevens, Redgrove, good run, nice tackle by Scott, Stevens, fast tackle coming up as it goes to Goldman, then to Fans, Fans kicks towards the centre, there's Everson going through, this could be dangerous, oh a great take out on the far side there. Is it a try by... No, I don't think he's really a try, no. It was a great take there by MacArthur coming in. And so it's a line drop out. I'll tell you what, it was a saving take.
It was a beautifully placed kick by John Fans.
Burke. Long way down. Redgrove, Australian rule style. Nicely taken. Payne off the wing. Stevens gets it away to Pemberton. Cessnock appear to be running riot, not scoring so many points, but they're running well with the ball. Maitland will have to defend. They've got to try and get onto the attack. Tartner just put Gary Sullivan out of the way very easily. Holden, then Fans, coming through Davies. He slips a tackle.
Forward pass rule, penalty given to Maitland.
Surely they'll try and find some ground with this. Burke kicks out towards the far touch and finds it inside of Cessnock's half now. McNabb, Robbie Sullivan. Good run. McNabb. Scott. Lawler, they're not good passes. He's knocked it down, towed through by Fans. Fans could pick it up, but Fans is on the burst. He's got it to Stevens, and here's a chance if he can get it away, but a good saving tackle by Burke. Came across him, took him up the top. Now it's Goldman. Goldman swings it to Ambram. Ambram tries to get away as Lawler goes for him. And once again, Cessnock on the attack. They were defending a moment ago, now they're attacking. It's Tartner. Tartner, a nice dummy with both feet off the ground. Got nowhere, gets it away to Everson, onto Ambram. Ambram to Goldman. Goldman back into Williams, and Williams has held him attack. Goldman at dummy half. Maitland in plenty of bother. Vans, Davies, Redgrove out wide there, gets to McKinnon. McKinnon holds him on the quarter line, and they try and get him back a few metres. Pemberton comes up to dummy half. He runs and he tries to get away. He got it back to Davies. Davies is through the gap. He's in for another try. If Burke doesn't get him, but he's just short. Great run by Davies, having a great game. He'll play it back to Fans. Fans gets the ball up. It's loose on the ground. Pemberton picks it up. He's taken down with the ball, and that's the last tackle. What a great run, Davies. Scott puts it in, and it's a Cessnock ball. Fans tries to get it to Pemberton, and it's a penalty to Cessnock.
John Scott not retiring behind the scrum base.
Tartner lines this one up. Puts a foot to it. 2 more points. He makes it look so easy, and perhaps Maitland might have learned their lesson now. It's 14-9 in favour of Cessnock. Starting play for Maitland. Maitland 5 points behind. Redgrove traps it down. Takes it up to the quarter line before he's eventually pushed down. Play it back to Davies. Davies runs. Schumacher was there and they take him back to the same spot. Holden comes to dummy half. Out to Tartner. There's Jowett coming up over his quarter line before he's brought down. Holden again to dummy half. To Tartner, Everson, Redgrove, Everson at dummy half, a long one to Tartner, 2 Fans, Stevens, Fans puts the ball up. Last tackle. It was well taken there by Williams to be able to take that ball. Everson coming off and Mallard going on for Everson. Everson has played a great game, getting a great hand from the crowd as he leaves the field too. Scott wins the ball from the scrum and gets to the quarter line of Cessnock. Back it goes to Sneesby. Sneesby tries to get through and Fans is over the top of him. Now it's McNabb. Nab up to Robbie Sullivan. Robbie Sullivan crashes into the forwards and nearly looked like breaking through, but Tartner in a headlock. The toe hold by Holden and somebody else is there with the Boston Crab, I think. Then it goes to Scott. Then it's to Gary Sullivan. Gary tries to get away and can't get the pass away as Stevens underneath him and Davies over the top. There's Sharp. Sharp dummies and tries to straighten up, but he runs into Mullard. Sullivan at dummy half. Puts it up. But there's more. The ball bounces loose. McKinnon was nearly there. He was knocked out the road, but no, it's a knock on, the referee claims. McKinnon looked as though he could have had a chance of reaching that ball. Won by Maitland. On it goes to Lawler. There's Carmody, but they're standing still. It's McKinnon now. McKinnon gets to Ambram. Can't get away. Great tackle by George Ambram. Up to Scott. Scott to Sharp. Sharp dummies. Tries to go to the corner and is about 10 metres out. He'll play it back to Lawler. Lawler shapes up for the line and is just about 4 metres out. As Sharp waves his arm, signalling he's going to go that way. He does for a change. Scott. Then it goes on to... Sooners and a bad pass there.
Try gone begging.
Yes. Fence putting the ball in. It's won by Scott. He goes round the scrum and he's between the bow. He's about 2 metres short. The Sharp comes to dummy half now. Spins it to McNabb. To Robbie Sullivan. Back it goes to Carmody and he's hurled down there by Goldman. Sullivan, a long one to McKinnon. McKinnon has to get through a couple of players, and gradually Maitland are losing ground while in possession. McNabb runs across field. Back they go again. This time it's Schumark, and Schumark's down in the tackle. Where it goes to Burke. He looks for Gary Sullivan. On to Robbie Sullivan. Mullard's up there. He breaks that tackle, but he doesn't get anywhere. And still Maitland waltzing round and not going forward. Sullivan puts it up. It's a good-looking kick. Oh, he's knocked on. That was Carmody.
Went down through his arms. Carmody had it at his chest. Just couldn't hold it.
Sharp back, it goes to Scott. Scott loses, and Cessnock in possession. And I don't think Maitland really want to win this game. It's Pemberton. Pemberton comes away as Gary Sullivan takes him down. Gee, McNabb's done everything right there. He's won those last three scrums, I think, John, hasn't he?
Right on the line too.
Back it goes to Holden. There's Mullard. Mullard, fresh from the second grade game, has had one half rest, and he makes ground. Holden at dummy half. And Cessnock once again putting on what looks to be an attack. It floats over to Ambram. Now it goes to Redgrove. Down the wing goes Payne. And he's eventually brought down by his opposite number on the far wing there. That was MacArthur. Well picked up on the half volley by Stevens. Stevens over the quarter line. It's another Maitland ball, getting monotonous in the way they're winning it, but they're not doing a lot with it. They're not helping McNabb 1 inch, I don't think. Carter will play it back. On it goes to Sharp. Sharp tries to break through. Burke has come up and he's playing at halfback at the present time. That's Burke with the ball now. There's a better looking one. Schumark tries to get through. Now it's Scott. On it goes to Burke. Back it goes to Sullivan. On it goes to McKinnon. McKinnon stretches out for the line, gets inside Beethoven, and that's his second try. And it's 14-12 now in favour of Cessnock.
Well, again, we see the magic of Brian Burke, who's been Maitland's secret weapon today. He's playing as a second 5'8". His ball distribution has been excellent. He handled that small pass off there. Maitland bursting through, and then McKinnon took it at his top. And a great finishing burst. McKinnon goes in for his second try of the match.
Easy kick all afternoon. This is not all that easy, except he's got the help of the wind this time. About 8 metres in from touching on the quarter line. A better looking kick, and it's there. It's 14-all in the grand final now, with about 20 minutes left to play. To restart play now. It's Fans. Fans sends it down. Lawler has it. Gets to his own quarter line. Gets through a couple of players, but eventually he's wrestled down. Souters comes to dummy half. Now he runs and makes a few metres, and Davies gets him. He nearly lost the ball, but he holds onto it now.
Maitland's handing has left a lot to be desired. It's certainly cost them a lot of ground in this match.
Scott, as they win another ball. What is it now, John?
That's 9-6 the scrums. Oh, sorry, 9-4. Cessnock have not won a scrum in this second half.
Scott goes to dummy half. McNabb, he's having a run. He's doing great as a hooker. On it goes to Sharp, and Sharp nearly to the halfway marker. Scott now goes to dummy half, just trying to find Brian Burke. And they swing it to Burke this time. Once back inside, Robbie Sullivan down the centre. Schumacher came alongside him but couldn't get the ball. Schumacher will go to dummy half. On it goes to Gary Sullivan. Gary props and gets it to Lawler. Lawler gets round a couple of players. Passes a bad pass. Mullard gets it. On it goes to Goldman, and it's a chance as Goldman sees an opening, gets the ball to Williams, and Williams stretches for the corner, and he's in. A good try. Good try, Williams. No, it's been recalled. It's been recalled.
I think the referee's ruled a forward pass. That final pass has been called forward. What a disappointment for Cessnock.
Cessnock have won a ball. It goes to Stevens, back to Fans. Fans tries to get the ball away. Maitland will have to watch their passing. It's a murderous pass from Lawler straight to Mullard. On it goes to Pemberton, and Pemberton is down in the tackle. Goldman swings it to Fans to Jarrett. Jarrett storms towards the line. There's Fans backing up, and he's just a 2 metres short. As Goldman comes to dummy half now. He sees the opening, he tries to get the ball away. Tucker's over between the post.
Goldman, looking for the opening himself, was held up and he struggled on, and eventually one-handed pass slipped it away to the moving mountain. Henry Tartner coming through, and Henry had no trouble at all, and he's put it down very close to the post, and almost certain 5 points.
Tartner right in front. Bang goes Henry. 2 more points to make it 19 to 14 in favour of Cessnock. Restarting play. Cessnock have hit the front again, and about 17 minutes to go, and he's found touch again from the kickoff. Won by Maitland. On it goes to Lawler. The passing's not crisp, and it's taking too long to bring him down. It's on to Carmody now. Then it comes to McKinnon. McKinnon tries to get through. Working hard, he gets it to Scott. Scott dodges and weaves. He runs into Davies, and Davies is like a brick wall today. And it comes Carmody, then Suitors. They reverse it back to Gary Sullivan, then to Lawler. Lawler's made the opening. He stretches for the line. He gets inside Redgrove. Nobody there. Now it's Sneesby at dummy half. Tartner's taken it. It's a penalty. Sharp. Robbie Sullivan.
The overlap outside for Maitland.
There it goes with Burke. Burke can't get the pass away, though. They had the overlap.
Great bit of defence by Mullard.
And it comes to Robbie Sullivan. Robbie Sullivan tries to get through a one-handed pass. And Tartner's there. Whoops. They're probably going to dance with each other at the Cessnock ball. And there's a knock-on. By
further error by Maitland. This is unbelievable.
To put the ball in, comes out.
The scrums in this second half favour Maitland 8-1.
Cessnock win the ball. Fans gets it. He's caught with it. Davies will go to dummy half. He's blown his whistle. Fans play plays the ball back to Davies. Davies up towards the quarter line. He's taken down by Gary Sullivan. Fans again to dummy half. On to Ambram. Ambram has players outside him. A good run by Stevens. And Stevens is held over the quarter line now as Goldman goes to dummy half. To Ambram. Tartner. Redgrove.
All on his own out there.
Off the wing is Payne to dummy half. There's Mullard. It's a good run by Mullard. He's still running. Time's essential too for Cessnock now. They hold that 5-point lead again. They don't look like giving it up. Fans puts a long kick through. It goes to Burke. Burke takes it. Comes to the halfway mark. Gets it to Scott. Scott finds he's no place to go. As Burke comes to dummy half. Gary Sullivan, Sharp, McKinnon had a big gain. Lawler, it's a better looking run by Lawler. Good tackle. Great tackle there by Williams. Maitland ball still. On it goes to Sharp. A long one. Scott. I don't know. Those long overhead passes, by the time it reaches the player, the defence is up on them. They need them short and crisp if they want to do anything. Cessnock are showing them how to play. They're keeping the ball close together once they get it. There's Burke getting it to Sullivan, then to Scott. Scott's up, beating a few players and eventually brought down as Robbie Sullivan goes to dummy half. Play close to the Cessnock quarter line. It goes to Gary Sullivan. A long one out to Carmody. Coming round there is Schumark. And there's the Cessnock defence following them all the way. Left to go in the second half as Lawler has knocked it on again. Another Maitland ball. This time Carmody gets it to McKinnon. Once again, Goldman is right up on top of him. Sneesby goes to dummy half. To Lawler. Tries to step back inside. Ambram there, waiting. Stevens to help. Carmody. Suitors. Pushes up towards Mullard, and Mullard nails him with the help of Jowett. Nabbit dummy half. Now there's a player gone on for Maitland who's coming off. Lawler's one player that's off. There's two players off. Lawler is one player that's come off, and you might go and pick those up for us, John. Robbie Wise is one of them that's gone on. As Mullard loses the ball, it's taken down by Maitland. Robbie Wise is one player that's gone on. Scott, Sullivan. I don't know what you're going to do with that, Brian Burke. Then Carmody. Cessnock are taking them back. Goldman took
tremendous defensive game from Goldman. He's in that tackle again.
It comes to Sneesby. Across goes Burke. Then to Gary Sullivan. Gary Sullivan looks for Robbie Wise. Wise picks that ball up well and makes a few metres as Gary Sullivan goes to dummy half. Runs the blind, gets it to Robbie Sullivan. They need more players there. It goes behind everybody. It's picked up by MacArthur. MacArthur comes back infield and eventually brought down by Davies. There's a good run by Suitors as Wayne Jobson goes on for the Cessnock side. It's a Cessnock ball. Out it goes to Stevens. Fans. Jobson. Quinn is on for Maitland. He's the other replacement. As again, Cessnock come up towards the halfway line as Jowett is taken down. Ambram gets it to Jobson. Holden seems to be hurt too. There's Fans. Davies gets the ball back to Fans. He dummies, and it's picked up there on the far side by Payne, and Payne goes back and comes back infield before he's eventually brought down. Redgrave goes to dummy half. There's players lying about the field now. It's a knock-on. Penalty to Cessnock. Looking for Tuts this time, and he's finding it. He's putting pressure right on Maitland now.
Good kick.
Look at that kick. About 5 metres out from the from the try line. And there's Jobson coming up to take this, and he might have a little bit of a run himself. He's pretty fit. He gets towards the corner about 3 metres out. Holden's come to dummy half. He's raced for the corner, but he's held up. Jobson is at dummy half, and he's gone for the corner. Oh, they've hit the pole, and he's out. It's a Maitland ball as Scott comes round, tries to get through. It's got to be a dying effort for Maitland now. There's only about 6 minutes left. Wise tries to make ground. To Gary Sullivan. Changes the direction of play. Gets it out to Burke. Burke comes up the centre of the field. Pemberton knocks the ball out of his hand, and it's a Cessnock ball again.
It's been the story of the game for Maitland. They just haven't been able to hold on to the ball.
Stevens now comes through. What a great effort Cessnock have put up. They've played really good football as Payne has spun down and attacked. They've attacked, they've defended, they've done something with the ball, and most of all, they haven't dropped it. Again, Cessnock in the closing minutes, not a knock-on. Jobson. Sullivan stops him. Fans, Tartner hesitates, then gets the ball back to Fans. Ambram's knocked it down, picked it up again, but it's a knock-on. Because 2 more points would seal it up at this stage. Here comes Tartner in. Up it goes. But he wouldn't think he'd miss at that stage of the game, so he didn't. And now he makes it 21-14 in favour of Cessnock, and that wraps up the grand final for 1977 for the Cessnock side. A great performance today by Cessnock. Burke. Davies. Cessnock are starting to play as though the game's just started now. They're really into it. Holden. Davies. Stevens. Taken down by Quinn. Jobson. About 4 minutes left in the match for the 1977 grand final. 21-14 in favour of Cessnock as Tartner gives it to Jowett. Jowett may have lost the ball. Here we go again. Sharp. Robbie Sullivan.
Henry Tartan was airborne when he made that tackle. He's really throwing himself into this game now.
Nab, Suitors, Scott. McNabb, Suitors, Sharp. Little kick, dragged down, picked up by Ambrose. Throws the ball wildly. It's picked up though by Stevens, and Cessnock are out of trouble. Back to fans. Jobson. Payne comes to dummy half. Davies, Ambram, Tartner, Redgrave. Good tackle by Wise that time. Goldman. Tartner, dummy half. Kicks his way out of trouble. Good kick. Might find touch now. Sneesby gets it and sets sail for the centre of the field. Then straightens up. But he can't get through fans. Penalty to Cessnock. To Maitland.
Oh, goodness me.
Oh, well. There's Sullivan. Sullivan straight down the centre. Scott. Sullivan. Robbie Sullivan. McKinnon. MacArthur's trying to come inside him, but McKinnon is taken down. Quinn at dummy half. Suitors. Scott. Sharp. Wise. Sharp. Scott. Burke. Back inside goes Burke. Gets it to Carmody. He scoops it in. Dummies. And is nearly over. Gets it to Sharp. Sharp lobs it to Wise. Wise on to McKinnon. And McKinnon's in for a try. His third try.
Initiating that move. They passed the ball around very, very well. Their handling for once stood them in good stead, and the ball swiftly moved out the back line with that huge overlap, and it was just a matter of which player was going to score that try, but it was McKinnon who's capped off a fine game with his third try.
Burke now attempting the conversion. Comes in. It's a low one, he's missed. And so it's 21 to 17. And there's the full-time hooter and the grand final winners, and congratulations to Cessnock, who had a fine game today to take out the 1977 grand final, 21 to 17. For his comments, John Coots.
Well, it certainly was a worthy win. In the second half, Cessnock were battling for possession, but their defence stood them in great stead. They just never let up all day. Maitland had some terrible handling lapses. They had their chances. They were in the game, particularly with that glutted possession in the second half. But full marks to Cessnock, who have made it a clean sweep. Three-season competition, the minor premiership, and now what a great victory today, the major premiership. Maitland outscored them in tries 5-3, but it was the trusty boot of Henry Tartner that made the difference. He kicked 6 goals from 9 attempts, whereas Brian Burke for Maitland could only manage 1 from 5. That's the story of the game. Maitland a handy lead in the scrums, 13-7. In the penalty, Cessnock had the edge, 10-7. A great victory, and congratulations not only to Henry Tartner, but to the 13 Cessnock players who went out there today and showed us just what grand final rugby league is all about.
Well, the 1977 season has come to an end. A great win to Cessnock. Congratulations, and also to Maitland for putting up such a good fight in the grand final. Seeing it's the last game, I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking all club officials in the Newcastle League for their help throughout the season, and to you, John Coots, thank you very much for your assistance throughout the football season. So from John Coots and Noel Harrison, good evening.